Hi creative friends, this is Freya and thank you so much for being here. So I made a video about my backgrounds and I think I posted it a week ago, and I was asked to explain or talk about or illustrate how I get from my backgrounds to a piece like this. Now, this is not complete by any stretch of the imagination, but it's more solid and put together than my backgrounds. So I think the pieces I showed in that video was, I think it was this one over here and this one over here. But I added this one as well for this video just because, you know, it is in the same stage of completion as these two, but it also shows more of the background. So I'm just gonna bring it up closer here, and you can see that, you know, this is my initial background. Like, even though these figures are kind of fleshed out, so to speak, you can still see, like, this is the background over here, you know, all of this is the background, this is the background, this is the background, you know, all of this is the background over here. So I'm going to show you how I get to that place. Now, these two are in earlier stages of being fleshed out. Like, I, you know, drew a figure over here and you can see, like, this is all the background. Now, I do have my blue Stabilo pencil over there, but you can see how I'm starting to think about the composition. And at this point, I can still go in there, you know, take my wet paper towel and just erase the blue Stabilo. Like, if I'm not happy with this, I'm like, you know, I don't think I want to go with this kind of a layout. I can just erase everything and start over. Now, I can do that at any stage, but it's easier to do it in this stage. Now, over here as well, you can see that this is also very early on where I'm like fleshing out the figures, and I might add another figure over here, or I may not, like, you know, but you can see a lot of the background. Now, this is the background that I chose to work on for this video and show you how I get, you know, more from this to those pieces that I just showed you. Now, this is only one way to work, and it may not be for everybody. Like, everybody is different. Different people have different inclinations, they have different visual languages, and, you know, they might want to approach things in a different way. So, you know, you might be somebody who feels more comfortable with a white piece of paper and then go in and, you know, sketch out your stuff and then work over top of it. But I find that when I work like this, where I just do the background, it gives me a sense of detachment. And, you know, if I just go in there and just start laying in colors and inks and Stabilo pencils, etc., I'm not so concerned about how it's going to turn out. Whereas if I go in there and I just start sketching, I'm kind of like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? You know, and there's more of a, I guess, like, I have more kind of trepidation about proceeding. And I've made a lot of videos about my background. So if you guys were interested, you can go to my playlist section under creating first layers, and I approach like all different sorts of substrates, and, you know, I use different materials like inks and pencils, and I mean, I think I've got like 20 to 30 videos in that section the last time I checked. So anyways, I'm sorry, I'm just rambling on here. But the first thing I want to do is I want to kind of see, like, what, you know, how do I want to place my figure? Do I want to place my figure this way? Do I want to, you know, like, I have to look and see like what makes sense to me. And like, I have to kind of find a place where I can, you know, put my figures. So I think, I don't know here. I think I'm gonna go like this. And, you know, nothing is set in stone. I can always change my mind, but I think this is gonna work out. And so what I want to do in this stage is I want to like search for a figure, even anything really small. And what I'm seeing is right away, I'm seeing what I can turn into a face over here. Like this actually looks like a face to me. Like, I'm going to bring it up closer. It's a very abstracted face, but if you can look at that shape. So I'm going to go with that. And I'm going to go with a similar size. Like I'm not going to enlarge it or anything. Like I actually like that. And that's another great reason for me to work with an abstract background in the beginning, is that like this shape already fits into this hole, because nothing in this spread, nothing in your painting exists in a vacuum. Like everything, every color, every line, every shape, like everything, it works together. So see, like I already am, like now I see a halo over here, which I'm really loving actually. So I think I'm just gonna go with that. Like I'm not even gonna like worry about her having any hair. She's gonna have no hair and a halo. And I already am loving that. So now let me see over here. What do I want to do? I was going to put another figure here, but actually I think what I'm going to do is just make a big, like I really, I honestly really am loving this big shape here. I know it's really huge, but I'm going to go with it. I'm just going to go with it. Like normally I wouldn't think to make this, if this was going to be a sun, I would kind of put it here and I would make it smaller, but I'm really loving the placement and I'm actually really digging the size of it too. It's, and this is like what I mean about, it's really good to work, for me anyways, it's really good to work where you're just making a background randomly. You're not focusing on the figure, but you're just making a background that you find pleasing, that incorporates your visual language, that you are satisfied with, because now you can find shapes and things to turn it into what you want to turn it into. And you might, like I said, if I was at a plain white piece of paper and I was gonna go, I would put my figure here maybe, but most certainly, maybe I would make my face bigger. Maybe I wouldn't think to put a halo over here. Maybe my sun certainly wouldn't be this big, and it would be more up here. But I'm just really loving this. Like even in this most abstracted way, I'm really, really feeling it. So anyways, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to ramble on here. So I don't know if I want to go with a completely abstracted face, or, there's so much about this that I'm really loving. But what I want to do right away is I want to tone down the background. So see like how I, kind of solidified the background with one color so the figures can pop. And I didn't do it with this because it's too early, but see, I did it with this, and I also did it with that one. And I didn't do it as much with this because it's not in the stages of completion that this one is. But what I'm aiming for is to kind of solidify the background. And I think I want to go with one color. I don't want to go with a top and a bottom. And I think I want to pick up on all, like, there's so many luscious neutrals and grays. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix a lighter colored gray, like not a super dark gray. And I'm really, I don't know, I don't know. Do I want to go with a gray? I don't know. You know what? I'm going to change my mind on this here. So I'm not going to go with a gray. You guys, I think I'm going to go with a very, very dark color. I'm going to go with this ink. I don't know. Something just tells me that it's going to pop when I do that. So let's experiment here. And it's really going to make these neutrals pop. loving this halo with, uh-oh. I'm really loving this halo with all the like dots on there. And I'm really gonna keep all of this. Like, I don't even want to make this smaller. If I change my mind later, I can always go in and cover some of it up. But the way it is right now, I'm really feeling it. I don't know if I want to keep some of this. I may or I may not. And once I cover it up, I can't retrieve it. But I think I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to cover it all up. Now, I'm really loving how this is popping, but I have to say, I don't think it's picking up the neutrals like I thought it would, but it's okay. It's okay. We're just gonna kind of go with it. And I can always mix a different kind of a gray, and let me try it. Let me test out a little bit here. Now the thing with this ink color is it is pretty strong and it can be overpowering. I don't know. I'm not really feeling it, you guys. I thought that was gonna work, but let me see if I lighten it up considerably. Let's see what happens here. I still think it's too dark, but it's okay. We're just gonna go with it. Now, you know what? I'm really loving that a lot more. And just so you know, you guys, like with those, with these pieces over here that I showed you, I have a lot of layers. Like I tried a lot of different color combinations before something stuck. And if you were going to see it in real life, like you would see how many layers I have on the paper, which, you know, to me just adds to its beauty and texture and just the lush quality of a an original piece of art. So I still don't know if I need to go lighter or not, but for right now, I'm just gonna leave it like this and start working on some of the other parts of it, because that's gonna, you know, change what needs to happen in the background as well. Because like I said, you know, nothing happens in a vacuum. Like everything plays off of each other. They support each other. They provide tension, balance, you know, all these different things. So I'm gonna not fuss with the background right now so much. And so I figured out that every time I say I'm not going to fuss with something, I end up fussing with it. It's, I don't know what it is, but okay. So I'm liking it, but I'm not loving it, you know? So I'm just gonna leave it alone, because when I start like fussing and fussing and fussing, usually that's a sign for me to just leave it alone, work on something else, get some perspective, and then come back to it. But I am gonna ask myself the question, like, what exactly do I need to be doing with this background here? And then I'm just gonna move on. So now I'm going to figure out, like, what do I want to do with the figure? Do I want to add some colors? Do I want to, let me see here. I think I'm going to go with my burnt sienna right here. And I'm just going to drop it in. And I'm going to keep some of that blue because it can kind of be like shadows on the face. And I'm going to kind of go like that. And that like tames it quite a lot. And now I'm going to see, what am I going to do with the dress part here. I don't know. I'm really loving a lot of the dress part. Like, I actually like it, but it's too similar to the halo, and you know, it's just all too similar. So I need to kind of just tone something down here so that other parts of the painting can stand out more. And I think what I'm gonna do is so I think I'm gonna let everything completely dry, you guys, and then come back. So I do think I'm gonna make a part 2 to this, but I hope this is illustrating how, you know, you can build up your subsequent layers from an abstract background. But, you know, I would just like you to keep in mind that these pieces here are not complete by any stretch. I would say these are only like 50%, 60% complete. They're not completed. So it is a process, and, you know, you just have to kind of like, just, it's going to be well, for me anyways, it's a feeling when I'm done. I just have like this feeling of, oh, it's done. Anyways, so if you've watched all the way to the end, thank you so much. And I hope that this video has been helpful, and there will be a part 2 to this. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.